Okay, so this game week I got a fairly disappointing 67 points. I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, I had a couple more points on my bench. Would have been nice if I just scroll down and show you the bench now. See, like, Jakupovic, 7 points, So it's a bit disappointing there. I did try a four back, it didn't work with two of the people in my four back getting me 1 pointers. I mean, Friend again came very close to getting me that clean sheet. He's playing so well, but he keeps just not quite getting the clean sheets. I see in midfield, Hazard got me an assist, but it's pretty much nullified by the three blank points that I had in my team. Townsend being obviously the third blank point. And then Lamella and Mahrez both got clean sheets, which was average. Really, this game week I was just carried by three players. Shaw, Ibrahimovic, and Aguero. I mean, after the United game, I was sat there thinking I was going to be in for a good game week. I was actually regretting thinking, oh, I should have captained Ibra. But luckily, Aguero came through and got me, some decent points. He scored 2 goals as well as the captain, so he got me some big points. Okay, so when we look at the teams and fixtures for the next game week, the transfers that I'm thinking of making is out with Stones because he hasn't looked very good so far. And with City playing the fullbacks as centre mids when they attack, it's leaving them susceptible to counters. So they've not been keeping many clean sheets. And with West Ham having Payet back, I'm not sure if they'll keep a clean sheet in that game. And then the game week after, they've then got an away game at Man United. So with Stones not even playing very good himself, he's made quite a few errors. Obviously, getting a booking last week, it was his reason they conceded the goal at Sunderland. So I am thinking of transferring out Stones. Another thing, when I look in the midfield, I am feeling Payet. Payet's fixtures are going to get very good once he's got this City game out the way. So I think after next game week, I'll probably transfer out Mahrez and bring Payet in. I also think this is going to be Long's last game week because next week he's got Arsenal and Long hasn't been playing too well. He's been fairly quiet up there. And although the Arsenal game may not seem too bad because, Arsenal have been pretty poor at the back, I mean, there's an international break in between now and then. So I am thinking that, Arsenal's defence will be back to full fit and that I will want to get Long out for that game, which is why I need to make one transfer this game week. So I do think this game week, the transfer I'm going to be making at the moment is Stones. I think what I'm thinking is either a Bournemouth defender or an Everton defender are the two that look like the best options when we look at the fixtures. If we just come down, see Everton, they've got Stoke this game week at home. Stoke have been looking not very good, and then next game week Sunderland away. So that looks like an option. And then if we look at the Bournemouth fixtures, we've gone back too far forward. The Bournemouth fixtures, they've got Palace, away at Palace, but Palace have been looking very poor up front. They've not scored many goals. And then they've got West Ham at home. So I'm not too sure. I feel like Everton will probably be the safer bet over Bournemouth, even though Bournemouth, those fixtures do look slightly better. I do think Everton will still be the safer bet. Okay, so when we look at Everton's defence, I think although Holgate may look a good option at 4.5, I think with Williams now being fit, he may be dropped. But with Holgate playing really well, he may drop Funes Mori instead, or he may not play Williams at all through lack of match fitness. It is really unsure. So I think like when we look at these Everton defenders, I feel like the only guaranteed starter is Jagielka. Obviously, Baines bought a 5 million budget, so Williamson's normally such a good option in FPL, but with him, possibly not being as much of a bonus point magnet anymore, I do think Jagielka's the safest bet. Holgate is making me think he could be more of an attacking threat. However, I'm not sure if he's going to start or not, and with him being so young, I think it's just best to play it safe and go with Jagielka. Okay, so with all my transfers done now, this is the team that I'm going to go with next week. I think I've learnt my lesson from last week and I'm going to try and avoid a four-back for a while, definitely at the start of the season, because it's just too risky. One problem you may notice with this team is that West Brom and Middlesbrough play against each other, but with them being two very defensive-minded, solid at the back teams, I don't think that should be too much of a problem. Another problem you may see is Lamella has a reasonably tough game at Liverpool. However, Liverpool have looked very poor at the back, and Lamella has had a very good start to the season. And with Harry Kane dropping deeper, It's actually helping Lamella out a bit because it allows him to become more of an attacking threat himself. So I think he could be more of a goal threat as well this season. I definitely think he's the best option when it comes to Tottenham midfielders, and they've got some great fixtures coming up after this game. I'm captaining Ibra this week. May seem strange because he's away and Aguero's at home, and I think with Ibra, I've been playing really well. Aguero has two, but I just feel like Hull away in the state Hull are in is a much better game, much better fixture than West Ham. I persisted with Long and Townsend last week through their tough fixtures, so this week I guess I've just got to hope that they can repay me with the easy fixtures that they've got this week. Okay, just put this on the end again as I did last week. I've just zoomed it out a bit so everyone can see where I am in all the leagues and their leagues. Again, if you want me to join your leagues, leave them in the description. I'll join them all. Any questions, in the description, leave them all. If you made it this far in the video, hopefully you've enjoyed it or found it interesting or educational. Again, please leave a like, really helps me out. And yeah, I'm just going to talk about where I am in the leagues. So as you can see, this week my game week rank was 818th, so not too good. 67 points, not the greatest. I believe I could have got 74 if I had have played the right plays on my bench in my starting 11, so I could have done a bit better. Again, overall rank though, if we look at that, 46,000. I think I was at like 18,000 last week, so I've dropped down a few places, but it's still pretty good points, 141, still a decent score. I think I'll have good team value as well because I really had to have a budget defence and a budget midfield to get both Ibra and Aguero in there. But that's a risk that was definitely paying off for me because now I see a lot of people on Twitter, scrambling trying to get those two both in because their prices are both rising. If you look at my leagues, you can see a lot of down arrows, but I did have a very good first week, so for me to have a good first week and then a pretty average this week, well, above average, it's just a pretty okay week this week, bit disappointed with it. So there is a lot of red arrows, but at this stage of the season, it is going to be a case of good week, up arrows, not so good week, down arrows. So I'm not really too bothered by those arrows.